Good day, everyone. My name is Shalen, and today I will be presenting a discussion on grammar and linguistics. This presentation explores how grammar is defined, the major linguistic perspectives used to analyze it, and how this perspective influence language teaching and learning, particularly in second and foreign language contexts. And I hope this discussion will provide a clearer understanding of grammar not only as a set of rules but also as an important tool for meaningful communication. Thank you, and let us begin. Before we can understand what it means to know grammar or be able to use it in communicating in a second or foreign language, we first need to clarify what grammar actually is. And this is necessary because there are different ways grammar has been defined and understood over the years. And each of this perspective has influenced how teachers approach language learning. When language teachers, researchers in second language acquisition, or language testers think of grammar, they often think in terms of specific grammatical systems or paradigms, such as traditional grammar or universal grammar. These systems are usually based on examples from native speakers and constructed to describe correct or well-formed sentences according to certain rules. The goal of these grammatical frameworks is internal consistency, meaning that the rules should make sense and fit together logically. However, because these systems are built within specific theoretical approaches, they are often understood only by those trained in that approach, which can make them less accessible to the average language learner. So in short, understanding grammar it is not just about memorizing rules. It involves knowing which framework or approach is being used and how that framework describes the way people use language. Since the 1950s, many linguistic theories have been proposed to explain how language works. Too many to list individually. And despite this, several of these theories had a significant influence on how the second language or the L2 educators define grammar in classrooms and for assessments. While a complete review of all of these theories is beyond the scope of this text, it is still useful to highlight some of the most influential ones. In general, linguists tend to take one of the two main approaches when describing language. First is the syntactocentric perspectives, which focuses on syntax, meaning how words are arranged in sentences. Here, the structure of language is the primary focus of study and analysis. Then the second one is the communication perspective. The communication perspective focuses on how language is used to convey meaning. The emphasis is on understanding the functional and communicative aspects of language rather than just its structure. And these two perspectives help organize and classify the most influential grammatical paradigms which have shape both the L2 teaching practices and the way grammar is assessed in educational contexts. So now let us first discuss the syntactocentric view of language. So the syntactocentric view of language focuses on the structure of language rather than its meaning. And in this perspective, formal grammar is seen as a systematic set of rules or principles that describe an ideal speaker's or listener's knowledge of a language. These rules allow us to generate all correct or well formed sentences in that language. This approach looks at language in layers, which is sounds combined to form words, words combined to form phrases, phrases combined to form clauses, and clauses combine to form sentences. And the main concern here is how sentences are structured. It doesn't focus on the literal meaning of sentences or how they are used in real life situation. That is the domain of semantics, which is the meaning, and pragmatics, or the contextual use. Now, let us can, um, see this example. So here is an example sentence. So in the sentence, uh, Regio and Messina were taken to the vet this morning. We can analyze the structure without worrying about the meaning. So for instance, Regio and Messina or is a noun phrase or the subject, and were taken is a verb phrase or the action. Then to the vet is a prepositional phrase. So where they were taken. And this morning, it is an adverbial phrase when it happened. So by looking at these words and phrases are combined, we can see that the sentence follows grammatical rules for forming a correct English sentence. So this is exactly what the syntax to centric approach focuses on: structure, not meaning. Some formal grammarians explain sentences like the passive voice example, Reggio and Messina were taking to the vet this morning, by comparing it to its active voice version, or someone took Reggio and Messina to the vets this morning. So from this comparison, they can derive rules such as how to change a verb from past tense to past passive. So example, took is changed into were taken. So and how to move the object of the action like Reggio and Messina to the subject position, and how to remove the agent, which is the someone, and rules for pronunciation and spelling. Some grammarians also study incorrect sentences to understand why certain forms are ungrammatical. These syntactocentric theories give L2 educators a lot of useful information about grammar rules and structure. And as a result, teacher teacher often use this information to design the syllabi, prepare materials, plan lessons, and also assess the students. And these theories also help teachers and testers decide what grammatical content to include in exams. So allowing them to make better inferences about a student's overall language ability. So, in short, syntax-centric grammar focuses on structure and rules, and this knowledge has been very useful in teaching and assessing second language learners. Now, let us delve into the communication view of language. Now, think of the communication approach as looking at language like a tool we use to get ideas across, rather than just a set of rules we have to follow. In this perspective, the structure of a sentence isn't the most important thing. What really matters is what the speaker or writer wants to communicate and how the listener or the reader interprets it. So, for example, take the sentence, Reggio and Vicina were taken to the vets this morning. A formal grammarian would focus on the rules of the passive voice, and how the word changes, how the object becomes the subject, and so on. But a communicative grammarian asks, why did the speaker use the passive here? What does it emphasize? They might compare it to the active version. So, the active version is someone took Reggio and Messina to the vets this morning. Both sentences convey the same basic information, but the passive focuses on Reggio and Messina, not on who did the action. So the communicative approach looks at these kind of choices, how grammar can help shape the message and guide interpretation, rather than just checking if the sentence follows the rules. From a communication perspective, grammarians don't stop at identifying that a sentence is in the passive voice. They also ask why the speaker chose the passive instead of the active in that situation. In other words, what was the communicative purpose behind that choice? So in the sentence, the Regio and Messina were taken to the vets this morning. The speaker may not care about who took the cats to the vet. What matters more is what happened to Regio and Messina. By using the passive voice, the speaker shifts the focus away from the person who did the action and places it on the receivers of the action, which is the cats. So this choice makes sense because as cats, Regia and Messina could not go to the vet on their own. The passive voice helps highlight this fact, and as a result, Regia and Messina became the grammatical subject of the sentence, even though they are not the ones performing the action. So, in short, this perspective treats grammar as a tool for meaning, not just a set of rules to memorize. It's about how we use language to communicate effectively, not just how we construct the correct sentences. So, from the communication point of view, grammarians are also interested in why the agent is left out the sentence. So, in the example about the Reggio and Messina, Hmm. We are never told who actually took them to the vet. So in real life communication, this is often not a problem because the listener can usually guess or infer the agent from the context. However, when the sentence is taken by itself, that information is missing. So the reason the agent is omitted is that it is not important to the message. The speaker is not trying to highlight the person who did the action. In fact, the agent might already be known from the situation, and mentioning it again would be unnecessary or repetitive. And less commonly, the agent may simply be unknown. So either way, leaving it out help keeps focus on what the speaker thinks really matters. This shows how the communication perspective looks at the connection between grammatical choices and intended meaning, always considering the context in which the sentence is used. Grammar from this view is a resource for effective communication, not just a set of rules. Both the syntaxocentric and communicative approaches have strongly influenced how grammar is taught in L2 classrooms and how it is defined for language assessment. And together, they shape how teachers understand grammar and how learners are evaluated. So the next step is to look at specific linguistic theories that represent each of these perspectives. In conclusion, grammar is a complex and multifaceted aspect of language that cannot be fully explained through a single definition or perspective. Over time, various linguistic paradigms have shaped how grammar is understood, studied, and applied in second and foreign language contexts. So the syntactocentric perspective focuses on the structural rules that govern sentence formation, while the communicative perspective emphasizes how grammar is used to convey meaning within the specific context. So both perspectives provide valuable insights and have greatly influenced language teaching and assessment. So therefore, effective grammar instruction should integrate attention to grammatical form with meaningful language use and allowing learners to develop both grammatical accuracy and communicative competence. That's all everyone. Thank you for listening. Thank you.